Hi, I wasn't really expecting that to start right away. Let's see who we're doing next for January. Cancer. This is your January 2026 read. We're going to do, instead of a past, present, future thing, we're going to do something that's like that. It's going to be like a hidden present, future. First, we're going to use the magnetic poetry. Please check the description box for everything you need to know. One sec. I feel like I need to clean my screen. Anyway, we're going to use magnetic poetry. We'll use this is a newer deck that I haven't used yet. It's called the Every Little Thing You Do is Magic Tarot. Then we're going to do the Book of Answers and an affirmation using the I Am Power Pack. So let's get started for you today. Please check the description box for everything you need to know, including a place where you can go to check out what your rising moon and Venus sign is by running your natal chart. Anyway, let's get started, shall we? Cancer. Oh, we had a couple come out. Okay. Get a pen and a piece of paper, and then you can go ahead and you can jot these down and unscramble them into sentences as you see fit. Got two asses. Yeah, there you are. Want to write those down? That'll be helpful for you. Okay, all right. So the Every Little Thing You Do is Magic Tarot. I'd love to be able to memorize the songs for each of these because apparently there's a song for each card in the deck, but I'm not gonna go through all of those and figure it out that way. I'm just gonna do me and do the tarot as I see fit. And that way we can just get it done properly here. Sorry. I got a lot of hair here. I need to get my hair cut. But anyway, oh my God. I should have put it up. But this is a thicker deck. It's kind of like the same as my my Lover's Path Tarot. So it's a wider deck. So I won't be shuffling it like I normally would. I still need to do a really good shuffle. I only take flippers and jumpers to a maximum of 3 each time. I do want to make sure that we do a really good shuffle on this because I haven't used it yet. And because I haven't used it yet, you know. Anyway, yeah, pause. I'm going to pause it so that I can do this. Okay. Once more. I really got to start, looking at the size of the deck and not just the imagery and stuff like that. Because, I would like to be able to shuffle a deck and not have it be an issue. Okay. Twist for fairness. Okay. Flippers and jumpers only. What is hidden from Cancer's awareness? Anyway, what's hidden from Cancer's awareness during January? Let's see here. Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. What is hidden from your awareness? It's too many. We did have one that stayed. Justice in the reverse. Somebody, Libra energy, but somebody might be like in this like mood where they're feeling like a deep sense of injustice, or that there's just a lack of equilibrium, fairness, that somebody might be lying to them, or there's dishonesty. Tell us more. Sorry. Could be feeling just like something's not fair. With that, we have the Two of Cups in the reverse. Something's not fair, or somebody was dishonest about why they didn't show up to a meeting of the two. It could be that somebody was stood up on a date and they're like, this isn't fair. Somebody was dishonest with me about why they didn't show up. This is, you know, normally two people meeting together for a meal or drinks or something of the sort, but it's a meeting of the minds. Somebody felt something was off, or something wasn't balanced, or somebody wasn't being honest about something, and that's why they didn't come together to celebrate or to break bread. What else? There's two here. Eight of Swords in the, yeah, it's put them in a mental prison. But it kind of contributed to a collapse of one's beliefs, where they kind of had a pretty traditionalist belief, or non-traditionalist beliefs. Somebody holds, thank you, somebody holds a non-traditionalist belief about things, and normally is different philosophies, unconventional philosophies about something. And now they're up in their head. They're in like a self-imposed mental prison. It could also be that, you know, because somebody doesn't have traditionalist values and philosophies about things, that it goes against somebody else's traditional values, or their somebody else that was a part of this meeting of the two that didn't happen. They could be a part of a religious like a highly structured religious organization or something, and they may not feel comfortable engaging in a relationship or going on a date with somebody where there is a little bit of an unconventional, non-traditionalist philosophy. But there was dishonesty about this, or something that didn't seem fair about the fact that somebody got stood up. Somebody didn't show up for the meeting of the two. What else is hidden from Cancer's awareness here? I have too many flippers. I can't take that many. What else? Taurus energy on that as well, hey? The Hierophant. Somebody might have also, thank you, somebody might have also thought that this person, there was no point in meeting up with them if they didn't see it as something that they could engage in to the extent of which they would end up in a long-term commitment, you know. No, I don't normally get the Hierophant as a commitment-y type thing, like a marriage type card, but oops. The 2 of Wands in the reverse. There's an impatience. If somebody's up in their head, and kind of stagnant and feeling stuck. But at the same time, as they feel stuck and like they can't move forward on something because they're kind of in this state of anxiety, or caged because of their own mental state. They also feel highly anticipatory and very impatient about something not panning out the way they would want it to. Somebody is bothered a great deal by the fact that they have been kept waiting for a considerable amount of time for something to happen. It's starting to make them kind of, it's causing them to be up in their head a lot more than they need to be. What else? Lastly, for Cancer, that's hidden from your awareness. Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. Okay. Yeah. You gain perspective on this, though. So you were once impatient, or somebody is growing increasingly impatient about waiting for something to pan out for them. But with that being said, there's been a gaining of perspective that's occurred. Either you or somebody else has seen something from several different angles or taken the time to observe something from many different standpoints or viewpoints, and therefore, having done so, understands better how a situation occurs to each individual in it. I see an energy there. So it's like understanding somebody's side of the story, or being able to walk a mile in somebody else's shoes and kind of getting it, In the present for you, Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. It's like somebody can say, well, I can understand why da-da-da-da-da-da. Like, I'm actually hearing that. Six of Pentacles in the reverse. We got a lot of reversals here. Six of Pentacles in the reverse. There's something didn't seem fair, and it's being highlighted in the present that something is not currently fair or balanced because one person is contributing more than another. And if we're talking about somebody being stood up, or somebody expecting that they would be meeting up with somebody for drinks or to have a bite to eat or a date, I keep getting like a date energy, and somebody got stood up, or somebody was expecting that they would be asked out by now or something like that, but it didn't happen. It's because one person was carrying the conversation, or one person was contributing more to the interaction than the other person. It just seemed like one person was shouldering the load a lot more than the other person was. We got two Libra cards there. This could be something that you've been encountering since Libra season, but also Libra is the emphasis on the other instead of the self. And so it seems like there's been a lot of focus on another person instead of taking care of oneself. That has kind of, there's been a realization about that, and therefore that's why somebody didn't show up or decide to break bread or come to the date or ask somebody out, is because the focus seems to be on the other rather than on the self, and that's not balanced or fair. Shuffling backwards now. And that's in the present. So some more. Okay. We have three here. We have the Oracle of Pentacles. I believe that's the Queen. And then the Six of Wands in the reverse, and the Hermit in the upright. Everybody keeps getting this feeling of defeat or loss with the Six of Wands. Just give me a sec here, because I want to see what this Oracle is. Yeah, I thought so. Sorry. Yeah, so the Oracles and the Elders. So the Oracle is the Queen, and the Elders are kings. Anyway, Oracle. The Oracle of Pentacles, the Six of Wands in the reverse. And everybody keeps on getting the Six of Wands in the reverse. I haven't seen anybody get the Six of Wands. It doesn't matter. Nobody's using the same decks for any of these readings and that I'm doing. And everybody's getting the Six of Wands in reverse. And then we have the Hermit in the upright. So there's a need to be more ambitious, determined, passionate. This is Capricorn energy, the Oracle of Pentacles. To focus on one's career, but also focus on enriching the home life so that it's more refined, luxurious, to provide oneself with a place to rest after coming home from a long day's work at the office. But emphasis should be placed on career and passionate action towards one's career goals. Ambitiousness is important here. In fact, this might actually be a shift in energy during the present time that you might be encountering simply because you felt that you lost out. It might be a way to counterbalance the feeling of defeat that you're dealing with here in the Six of Wands. I keep on having to say it because everybody keeps getting the Six of Wands in the reverse. Now, typically in the upright, the Six of Wands is the guy waving the victory banner coming back from battle. And all the townspeople are celebrating and crying hooray and all that wonderful stuff. So in the reverse, it's actually defeat after a battle and a feeling of defeat. With that, there is going to be a turn within, Virgo energy with the Hermit there, where somebody is going into the cave of self-discovery in order to learn something deeper about themselves, a deep personal truth. So it seems as if instead of looking at a meeting of the two, that it's imperative because of the lack of balance that the focus should be on one's career and enriching one's skill set and evaluating what your ambitions are at this time, where you should be, enriching your home space and making it more refined and luxurious, but also where should you be more determined and passionate about your profession, That's one way to counteract this feeling of defeat. And forget the unconventional, non-traditionalist belief systems or the collapse of a highly traditioned or a highly structured organization or philosophy or belief system that kind of, resulted from any of this. You have bigger fish to fry. It's time for you to take a deep look at yourself, have a conversation with yourself about what your what the truth about you is. You're spending a lot of time up in this mental prison of the Eight of Swords here. And really, what has to happen is instead of spending all your time looking at fears and anxieties and worries and things that may not necessarily be true, it may be more proactive for you to spend that time up in your headspace having conversations with yourself about what is it working for you, what isn't working for you, and what your true essence is, as opposed to what you're scared that other people think about you and if it's true or not. No matter what other people think of you, what do you think of you, right? Sorry, this camera does this thing. Here we go. Anyway, also in the present for you, Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. I might actually have to turn that up a little. There, that's a little better. Let's see here. Cancer. That's too many. Cancer. Tell me more. Still shuffling backwards. I might have to pull one because I don't really know if I'm going to get a flipper or a jumper here. Whoa, that happened. Okay, these are the last two we need. Judgment and the Seven of Wands in the reverse. Okay, so dropping one's guard. You're dropping your guard at this time, which is good. Seems you are cutting out, I'm actually hearing it rather than seeing it as symbolic here. It's not actually a part of the Seven of Wands. But, you know, cutting out what no longer serves you also with this. Yeah, and because we have the Judgment card, Aries, Sagittarius energy, you're having to make some choices about that, but you're doing so from a place of confidence, having gained perspective. You've been rather anxious and impatient. You've been growing increasingly impatient with certain, you know, circumstances in your life that haven't been working out. And so it's time that you get decisive. And you're doing that in the current energy. Getting decisive about what is healthy for you, what isn't healthy for you. And it's almost as if you don't have to, thank you, you don't have to defend your decisions to drop what no longer serves your highest good. You don't have to defend yourself. Okay, in the future for you, Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Oops. Okay, the Emperor in the upright, so Aries energy with the Knight of Swords. So there is impulsive action that follows in the future. Aries energy, with the Emperor, this is leadership energy. You're taking the lead on something that has to do with your career, your ambitions, professional endeavors, and also, you know, confidently calling the shots when it comes to bringing things back into balance in the future. You're happy to do so. And remember, I was saying about too much focus being on the other and not the self. Well, this is the focus on the self. So you're bringing the focus back onto the self, and you're being clear and concise in your direction. With that, there is a little bit of a warning here about being too impulsive in the actions that you're taking moving forward. You don't want to, you know, be irresponsible with your actions by not taking using the appropriate amount of careful forethought in your decision making. So there is a little bit of a caution here, not to, because the champions are the knights, a little bit of caution here, not to be too impulsive in your search for the correct things in your career space, which could result in a feeling of defeat. It could also result in defeat if you irresponsibly go around lopping people's heads off with the sword that the Knight of Swords possesses. So be careful. Instead of being impulsive and jumping to conclusions and making decisions without thinking them through, try to make sure that you're thinking about things before you're taking action, so that you don't end up, doing something that lands you in hot water or results in a loss of some sort. You don't want to wildly swing too far in the other direction, I guess is a good way to put it. What else? In the future for Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Yeah, it's like, you know, there's confidence, there's decision making, there's being the person who can take the risk, and be adventurous, like an Aries would, you know, but you don't want to be volatile and irrational, seemingly irrational, like a Knight of Swords would. Six of Swords. Yeah, there's movement forward that needs to happen. Movement away from something that's no longer working, so that you can explore new avenues that are full of potential. It's time to move on. For the direct translation, it's time to move on from a loss. There's a loss that I'm seeing here, or a defeat, a feeling of defeat, or an attitude of defeat that you need to move on from. But it's also imperative that you realize that moving on and moving forward holds a lot of promise for you. And then it's not necessarily about leaving something behind as much as it is about progress and a step towards something better. There's ambitiousness that's required for this. You just don't let it be a knee-jerk reaction, like you're feeling like a sense of loss or defeat. And so the knee-jerk reaction is to, like, you know, shoot off in the opposite direction, because that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have something great happen for you. You know, you need to, you know, make calculated risks and moves, right? Not just shoot from the hip. Yeah, there's creativity. Use your creative thinking. Connect with the earth. Get grounded and centered and connect with the earth. Taurus, Libra energy on this one. This could actually be something that you're doing during the Virgo Libra cusp season. Because we have Virgo, we have the Hermit, and then the Empress is right directly below it. There's a connectedness with the earth that's happening. And as you ground yourself and you get back into a space that is less emotional and more practical, you'll be able to use creative thinking and problem solving skills that'll be helpful to you in the long run. You might also find yourself engaging in artistic endeavors as a means of moving forward and healing from a feeling of loss or defeat. This is linked to your deeper truth. Is that, you know, art is a part of your deeper truth, right? You know, the Empress is represents things of beauty. So creating things of beauty, right? Being poetic, musical, creating. There's something about the arts, the visual arts, the you know, music, poetry, all things Venusian, right? And not being so defensive about your creative self-expression. Three of Pentacles. Yeah, it's like dropping your inhibitions. There could be a need to also connect with friends. This is camaraderie. It's also the union between mind, body, and spirit. So while you're connecting with the earth and getting back into a grounded state, connecting with nature, becoming more creative, and trying to be more artistically minded, it's also important to continue to work on the balance in between mind, body, and spirit. Don't allow one to take over more than the others. This can also be about agreements, contracts in between friends. or even just engaging in camaraderie in between individuals. A place where you can let down your guard and you can be yourself. Lastly, you can make decisions without feeling defensive about them, like people aren't, judging you for your decisions. What else? Lastly, in the future for, Cancer. Two of Swords in reverse, picking a direction, finally moving out of the energy of a fork in the road, or having previously reached an impasse. You're taking the blindfold off, you're unfolding the hands from in front of you, and you're choosing a direction. You're moving forward. This is like saying this, right? So it's picking a direction. It's choosing a direction and having no qualms about it, feeling that you don't necessarily owe an explanation, that you don't need to defend yourself for the choices that you're making. Cool. All right, bottom of the deck for you. 9 of Swords in the reverse. Yeah. So there is an alleviation of some massive anxieties that you will find should result over the end of the month or throughout the moving into February, if you are embracing the change that is going to happen here as a result of this. The 9 of Swords is an alleviation of anxiety, worry, sleepless nights, nightmares. The Knight of Swords is the person laying in bed biting their nails with a monkey on their back, freaking out that things aren't working out for them, and imagining every nightmare scenario and phantom that could possibly visit them, And as it's in the reverse, this is a lifting of that heaviness, right? So it's good. Let's get you to take a deep breath, and we'll get you to ask a question from the Book of Answers here and see what we got for you. That's right, I finally got the Book of Answers. I don't necessarily think it's always practical in the YouTube space, but we can use it. For Cancer, what is Cancer's answer? You could find yourself unable to compromise. Yeah, it's like I said here, a feeling that you don't have any qualms or a need to defend your decisions. Yeah, you don't need to compromise. You don't need to defend your decisions. You've made a decision. It's not up for discussion. Yeah. Okay. And so let's get you an affirmation for January and see what the universe wants you to use as an affirmation to get you through in one piece. Perfect. Okay. What is Cancer's affirmation for January? Oh, that was quick. Ooh, I am in love. It was in the reverse, but I don't pull reversals in this deck. I am in love. Okay. You're in love? Sounds good. Okay. Alrighty. Do the things you need to do. These, the subscribees and all that stuff. And we'll see you when we see you next. Thanks, Cancer. Bye. Okay. There is your spread. These are quite large cards. I don't know. Anyway, all right. Bye.